I'm Rich Carroll. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. What began as a routine traffic stop suddenly turned violent. Karen Johnson reports.
A Flagler County Sheriff's deputy conducted what first appeared to be a traffic stop on a white Dodge Charger in Palm Coast recently after witnessing traveling at 63 miles per hour in a 50-mile-per-hour zone. The smell of cannabis was coming from the vehicle, but both the driver and the passenger, 21-year-old Shaquan Moore, denied having any narcotics or medical marijuana prescriptions in the vehicle. The driver was asked to exit the vehicle, and then Sheriff Rick Staley says the traffic stop went somewhat sideways.
He then began resisting arrest violently as they continued to struggle to restrain him, resulting in him being tased to gain control of his arms. After he was handcuffed, they found a fully loaded 9mm handgun that had been hidden in his waist that clearly he was trying to get.
Shaquan was found to be a fugitive from Fulton County, Georgia, with an active warrant for murder. The warrant was confirmed and Shaquan was medically cleared at Advent Health Palm Coast for minor abrasions from resisting arrest. Sheriff Staley says the deputy had no idea she was pulling over a fugitive wanted for homicide. This could have easily turned into a deadly encounter, but our deputies reacted quickly, used their training to safely take the suspect into custody. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
A fifth prescribed burn this year in Princess Place Preserve was successful. Amy Cherry has more.
Julie Murphy is Flagler County's Public Information Officer.
We use those prescribed fires to restore natural fire back into the ecosystem and remove hazard fuels. It's kind of tough to get these scheduled because it so much depends on the weather. You know, the wind's got to be right. It can't be too windy. It can't be from the wrong direction. It can't have too low relative humidity or too high relative humidity. So there are a lot of factors that go into scheduling them. So we're really pleased that we were able to do this.
Murphy says the effort is a joint one involving Flagler County Fire Rescue, the Florida Forest Service, and the Florida Park Service.
These fires are really critical to maintaining all that acreage. It's a necessary component of wildlife mitigation and all of the Florida ecosystems. It's vital to maintenance and mitigation practices. So what we really are trying to do at Princess Place, longleaf pine already exists in many of the areas of the burns. And that's what we want to have out there. We want to have the natural grasses and the longleaf pine because that supports all the native plants and animals.
Planned burns like this one help reduce the risk of an unplanned wildfire that can be destructive by using vegetation as its fuel.
Flagler residents will soon have an opportunity to train in emergency response procedures. John Arking has details.
The CERT, or Community Emergency Response Team Training Program, will teach basic disaster and emergency response skills, which Emergency Management Director Jonathan Lord says includes disaster preparedness, fire safety, and basic first aid.
This class teaches the attendees basic fire safety, including actually how to use an extinguisher. You actually get to practice putting a fire out. Light search and rescue, how to organize neighborhood teams, disaster first aid, and even talk about terrorism and disaster psychology. The whole intent of the program is to give residents the skills and knowledge to be able to help take care of their own neighborhood or even their own household after a disaster so that the responders, which are obviously in limited supply after any disaster, can focus on the highest priorities, but by having neighbors trained in this, that the neighborhoods can take care of each other until the responders can get there.
It's a free course that ranges from 24 to 30 hours involving some classroom work with mostly hands-on training. It begins May 4th and is a return to 100% in-person classes since the beginning of the pandemic. Social distancing and mask wearing will be required. Pre-registration is also required. That can be completed online at flaglercounty.org/emergency and select volunteering and training from the menu. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
So who is Steve Milo? Steve Milo is the founder of Vacation Rental Pros and CEO of V-Trips. He said he started in Florida, but then was nudged to become more than what he was.
I kind of thank the people at Flagler County for prodding me to move outside of the state of Florida, and particularly outside of Flagler County. It really motivated me to diversify.
Milo said that in a pandemic, diversification was everything. He said that having properties in other states has helped him stay in business. The entire interview can be heard on the Real Estate Matters podcast, available on the Flagler radio app. Real Estate Matters with Toby Tobin airs on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 9 right here on WNZF. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.